Hi guys and welcome down to the Monday Night Golf Show. We are back here at Trafford Golf Centre. It's the first time we've actually filmed here in ages. So we've got myself, we've got Rick Shields as always, alternating channels this week. It's my channel for the Monday Night Golf Show, and Wednesday will be the B4 show for Rick, and we'll get on to our predictions quite soon for that.
Yes, yeah, we need to do a little bit more background research because our predictions so far haven't been the greatest, but we are learning and we are learning fast because otherwise we're going to lose
a lot of money. We're not going to be able to do this. We're going to have to take a part-time job at Asda.
Yeah,
maybe the night shift at Asda.
Just to fund our gambling addiction that's going to start to kick in. Not want that there.
I was just thinking it might interfere with the microphone.
Oh, good idea.
Sorry, I was just thinking. Sorry if the first few minutes of audio has been terrible, guys. Apologise. Wasn't my fault. I swooped in to save us.
My phone. So yeah, I can't. Where have we actually been? We've done now a golf show. Let's do it in reverse order.
Okay.
We did it at St Anne's Old Links.
Yep.
Bearwood Lakes.
With the red arrows.
Red arrows. Bearwood Lakes. Where was the week before that? We were somewhere else.
No.
Lytham.
We did the
live.
We did the live golf show
here, but it was a live one.
Yeah.
The week before that, we might have been here. So I reckon it was 4 weeks since we've been proper sat down doing proper actual golf show, which is structured, professional, and to the point.
And on that point, on the edge of the point, the very pinnacle and precipice of that point, we go to European Tour and the beautiful Irish Open, where after a 6-year wait. Yeah. Friend of the show.
Soren Kjeldsen managed to actually take victory in a 3-man playoff. A 40-year-old, he's been on tour for a long period of time, and it's now his first win in 6 years. And he was nervous.
He was very
nervous, and you can see that over the last couple of putts. The putt he holed for the playoff on the 72nd hole, which horseshoed inwards, and then the putt he won the playoff in the birdie down the last hole, the horseshoe around and inwards. He must have been
when he hit those putts. I love the first thing he did was just like look at his kind of like
that's gone in, yeah. I can celebrate. So well done, Soren. That was an amazing victory at one of the most toughest, brutal conditions golf courses we've seen so far this year, without question. US Open is normally seen as being one of the toughest events in the circuit, but I think that's now got a new mantle. The Royal County Down this week at the Irish Open, it was brutal. And so brutal, so little players were actually under par. There was five players in the end that finished under par. And Soren actually shot 76, I think, the last round to win.
Well, it just shows, I mean, he took out, the first day, effectively took out the best player in the world. I know he's obviously not playing, he's on a little bit of a dip for some reason, but it took him apart on that first day, and
it was a bit cringy to watch. I mean, Rory went out there and shot 9 over. He was at one point dead last at his own event. Now, lots of reasons, lots of people have been making excuses. It's his event. He was hosting. He was probably doing a lot of publicity. He's been travelling a lot. Come on, he's not. He missed the cut last weekend. He had a great opportunity to put a bit of time in, put a bit of practice in. He just had a bad round. He just had a bad round of golf.
He just had 2 bad weeks. But the fact is, it shows the difference between. I'm not saying the strength or the difficulty of courses, but if you played in, say, a standard US or some standard European Tour event where you can, spray it around a little bit to some extent, when you get on a course like that, where there's just no bailout and it's just so tough. If you're not playing well and the wind is blowing and the conditions are bad, it can make the very best players in the world look a little bit silly.
Well, and it did. It really did. And he came out and shot level par. I think level par 1 over the next day and missed the cut by a mile. Yeah. It was really tough conditions. Lots of really top players did miss the cut. I think all our bets made the cut.
Yes, which obviously was in the small print of the show what we were actually going for.
That's all we were actually going for. We actually bet on making the cuts. We made 10p on each player. So check out the B4 show to see who we're going to pick again this week. But amazing turnout as well at the crowd. 107,000 spectators came, dobbed their bobble hat and their winter clothing, and headed out there on the golf course to the Royal County Down, and showed their support. And instead, the crowds were amazing this week.
It's incredible. It's something that you find. I know a lot of you guys over kind of in Ireland, Northern Ireland, do watch the show. You do messages all the time about going over there, and it's so nice to see an event like smashed out with actual fans. I mean, you look at the events in, say, China and stuff like that.
And we were talking to an unnamed Irish golf pro recently who says sometimes events in Europe can be a little bit flat.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that wasn't the case.
Yeah, because even in countries that you associate with golf, such as Spain, he was saying the actual turnouts of the crowds are quite low. So to see that many people,
and we kind of saw that firsthand in Turkey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We saw that it wasn't. You could. I mean, it's good from a spectator standpoint because you can get really close. You can get one-on-one. Really, really close. Where at the Open you can't do that.
Is that when you got kicked out?
That was the time.
When you really got one-on-one?
When I actually got over the rope. We didn't have rope passes, I realised that at the time. No, you can get really close, you can really get into the action. Where at some other events, let's say the Open, you really have to decide on whether you're going to follow a group or you're going to sit in the stand and prepare to wait a long time to see any golf.
So yeah, I mean, stuff like the Open, you say, I want to watch Tiger come up here. Well, he's on the 12th now. Let's get to the 18th.
Yeah. So and you literally stand there in there for hours to get a peek of him. Where other events, so I suppose if Tiger played in Spain, they'd get the crowds. This is why, Tiger, Rory, they do demand such high. I don't want to say appearance fees, but they do demand so much from the media standpoint, and the fact that they will drive traffic. They will drive spectators.
Yeah, everyone wants to see the best players in the world, don't they?
So in the playoff places as well, there's 2 playoff places was Eddie Pepperell, who actually had one of the only, or I think the 2 of them. Sorry, he had one of only 2 bogey-free rounds.
Which is ridiculous, really, in those kind of conditions. And him and Bernd Weisberger.
I was going to help you there, Pete.
I was waiting for it.
The big Austrian. He's
top,
massive as well.
He's massive. The top 3, they all secured Open places as well, so that's really good for them.
It is nice because actually they didn't have Open places, so to actually go 1, 2, 3 and win Open places, that's massively important. And the Open places would have gone for someone, but it's nice to see the actual best 3 players fighting for their place for the Open. So amazing. Should we do Soren as the swing analysis today?
Yeah, we'll do.
I think a nice 40-year-old swing analysis to see what he does different to the young 25, 26-year-old Rory McIlroy would be great. Great thing to see.
We're thinking about him, and then obviously Stephen Bowditch, who won at the Byron Nelson in the States, and kind of to be fair, Kjeldsen's interview after won us over, didn't he?
Yeah, Kjeldsen. We just listened to Kjeldsen's interview, and it was just touching. He really wanted that. Obviously all these tour players do, but he was saying, I was low in confidence. I didn't feel like everything was going my way. I really needed that win. He said, he was saying, it wouldn't have been that much longer till he probably, packed it in. But yeah, it's great to see him. Well done. Awesome win. Yeah, Danish player as well. So we got a lot of Danish fans watching. So thanks very much, and hopefully you were out celebrating last night.
So Stephen Bowditch, back to Big Steve. Big Steve, friend of the show, Under Armour stable player.
Well, he's got one on there. Did he have Under Armour on yesterday?
I don't know. I just seen his picture.
He has got one on there.
And went for it. I went all in Under Armour.
Well, yeah, he's Under Armour player.
He once graced the shirts. Or the shirts once graced him.
He's obviously an Under Armour player. Winners were Under Armour.
My friend Stephen.
So the big Aussie. Weird. I'll be honest with you. When me and Pete have just had discussion, we don't really know a lot about him.
No, we were actually looking.
Sorry, Steve.
We were looking through. We were looking through his stats to actually.
It's really odd, the stats.
Very strange. His stats from he used to play in the web.com tour.
He's been on tour. He's been on the actual PGA Tour since 2011. So he's been on for 4 years, and each year he's got better and better and better. So now he won last year.
He had one, didn't he?
One year last year. He had 1 year this year. 1 win, obviously, yesterday. He came second as well sometime this year. Loads of top 10s, loads of top 25s, and lots more cuts made.
And it's just.
And we were trying to see why. We were actually trying to see why. So we looked through his stats. His driving distance has decreased.
His driving accuracy has slightly decreased. His puts
have slightly decreased.
Every kind of major marker that you'd say, well, that must have improved for him to be a more consistent player.
We were trying to figure out what's actually changed.
Doesn't seem to have correlated. So we might have found something. However, a little bit of homework for you guys. Go to the PGAtour.com. Go to Stephen Bowditch's profile. Look through his stats and see if you can find what it was that has just seemed to tipped him over the edge this year to become that little bit more of a consistent player to get up in and around contention.
Your homework's due by next Monday, please.
Comment in
Don't
the
be
box
late.
below. Comment
Next
in the
Monday,
box
your
below.
homework is due. It was funny as well because you put a post on Instagram asking, put a picture of the leaderboard on and said, right, who's going to win out this leaderboard? And you had guys like Dustin Johnson, who else was up there? Zach Johnson.
Yeah, Dustin, Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker. He had a bit of a putting yips yesterday.
Not great, was it?
No.
Just started chipping in instead.
Yeah, he chipped in instead. Lots of really top players, and you said nobody picked. Nobody picked Steve.
No, I posted it on my Instagram. It was just a snapshot of the leaderboard. Effectively said who's going to win, and no one went for Stephen Bowditch. I think it's just because he's not obviously got the name, but he's one of those players who this year has just been there or
he won by 4.
He won
by 4 shots.
Was it wire to wire, wasn't he?
Wire to wire.
Wire
to wire win.
So,
amazing win. The big Aussie. And I think it's just looking from his stats. He's from New South Wales, which I've played in New South Wales. I played the golf course there in Australia.
So in other news, just before we jump on the mat and do the Soren Kjeldsen swing analysis, me and Rick have been finding different ways to get into a Periscope, which is basically a way that you can live broadcast through a Twitter feed, and we quite like it. Actually.
It's awesome. It is awesome.
Like it.
I think we're addicted to it. So we've collectively done 5 Periscopes now between us. You can check us out on it by actually going to our Twitter accounts, follow us on there, download Periscope, find us on there. I think that's how you do it. Anyway, if you follow us on Twitter, you will not miss the live Periscope feeds that we have going on. A lot of the big tour players have been into it as well. We've seen one from Rory McIlroy when he was on his private jet. They're a bit similar to ours, similar ideas, private jets, loose women, and fast cars. So we'll have to join us and check us out in the next kind of Periscope, because what it's really good for when we go on our little day trips here, there and everywhere is it's really good to just show you instantly what we're doing and where we're at. We did one this morning before the Monday Night Golf show, almost a behind the scenes when Pete was promptly late. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You can interact really easily and just come and follow us on it. It's definitely worth doing. We're going to be doing lots of them, and I think if anything it's going to be easier to access than some of the YouTube videos because it's live there, done.
It's straight away, yeah. And what we'll try and do is when we do one, we'll try and give a little bit of advance warning. So I'll probably do one actually this afternoon as a bit of a pre-Monday Night Golf show warm-up.
This is
possibly.
after that.
So you've obviously seen that and saw what an incredible show.
Hopefully you enjoyed Pete's previous live.
I would say, looking back on it now, it was probably one of the best ones I've ever done. And my God, what a surprise when she turned up. Well, we don't need to go into that.
Oh, actually, in other news, Rory's got a new bird. Did you see that?
A new bird?
A new bird, a new chick.
A new chick.
A new piece.
Bird.
A new piece. Yeah, he's got a new bird. Let's have a look.
You're actually looking her up?
Yeah, absolutely. She's called...
Golf?
No, she's called...
Golf Digest?
Yeah, Golf Digest shared it.
I tell you what, how Golf Digest, any time
Good, love it.
there's a girl anywhere near a golfer, in any context, on it. Pictures. So,
confirms new girlfriend. Well, he's holding hands with her.
Confirms contracts have been signed.
I think holding hands mean it's a done deal.
Yeah,
it's done deal.
I like the security guard they've got as well.
Yeah,
on that picture.
she could have done with dressing up a bit. She knew she was going to be in the media. Why the hell has she got a hood on and sunglasses and a scarf? I don't quite get it.
Did you see the weather?
It was freezing, but come on.
I'd have had 16 of them jackets on.
You're walking around with the most famous golfer possibly on the planet right now, and you dress like that. Erica Stoll, I believe she's in the golf business. My research shows...
What was your research show?
According to her Twitter feed, to be fair, she's not been on Twitter. I can't find her proper Twitter feed. She seems to have not been on Twitter for a long time. But she's in the golf business. And apparently Rory's known her for 3 years. So known her when he was with Caroline Wozniacki. Now, I'm not saying anything.
That sounded like... Oh, that sounded so euphemistic when you dropped that. He's known her. 3 years.
Now, I'm not saying that every time Rory McIlroy gets a bird, he plays worse. But he plays worse. I don't get it. I think he should stay absolutely single. I think that's what explains why he's dipped off in form so much. The new chick, the new piece, the new arm candy.
Wow.
I'm sure you're a lovely lady, Erica, but we want our old Rory back, our old single Rory back who shoots 62.
So, swing analysis. Soren Kjeldsen. Let's get off the bird talk. As Erica is her own woman and not just something to objectify. Okay, get him set. 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 And we're off and running. So, Soren.
Honestly, complete the first take.
Stay tuned to the very end of the Monday Night Golf Show for that first take. We've just been trying to exaggerate certain parts of Soren's swing, and to be fair, it looks like the way he swings, it's not probably the style that I would teach, and probably not the style that I'd like to implement, but the way he does it's really very consistent, actually. Very, very consistent way he actually swings. What he does is basically from the get-go, which is my new favourite way of describing things, on the way back, there's a very quick wrist set. So with all the clubs, even with the driver, there's a very, very quick wrist set. That angle is maintained to the top of the swing. But there's also a kind of bit of a bend in that arm as well. So at the top of the swing, it's like a really compact and tight position there. And from there, it's a drive with the legs coming through, and a very fast release of the hands and the arms through. So it's quite an interesting combination of movements. But
would you say, for me, that feels like it's going to be inconsistent? It feels like it might be powerful.
Yeah.
It feels like I've got to time a lot of issues there.
Yeah, I think, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because for us, I mean, I know both our swings are quite wide and things like that. So it's a little bit difficult to actually feel that quick wrist set and that kind of very quick hinge and bend at the top.
It just feels like it would be hard to get the club back online.
It's one of those things, like I say, it's not something that I'd personally try and teach, but
it almost feels like you're doing this, like a split grip. That would give you the sensation of really setting your wrist early.
But the thing is, Soren's been a player on tour for years. Years and years and years and years.
I bet I'd love you saying that.
Well, no, he's had the longevity on tour. Now, this kind of shows that, you know, there are different ways to actually swing, there are different ways to skin a cat. And the fact is, he does these movements every day, day in, day out.
Oh yeah, and that is the thing with these top guys. You know, every swing is different. I've got an interesting video coming up later this week about just that, how swings can be different, but it's all about, you know, actually how we deliver that golf club. And obviously he's found a way here to deliver it. It'd be wrong to say consistently, because he's not been a super consistent player.
I suppose.
You know, tour players, you know, he's a tour player, he is, but he's not been in the winning field for 6 years. So, you know, would a more consistent golf swing have made him a more consistent golfer over that period of time?
Who knows?
It's too late now. We don't know.
Would changing his swing make him a more inconsistent golfer?
Would it ruin him? Would he now not be on tour? I'm sure it's questions that he's asked himself over the years.
Yeah.
You know, he's actually said in one of his interviews, the only thing he's really worked on is chipping, pitching, bunkers and putting. That's all he's worked on, chipping, pitching, bunkers and putting. So he's not really done a great deal of work on his long game. So I can't imagine his long game swing have changed that much over a long period of time. But really early set, very close to his body, and then just rips through it. But, you know, he's trying to now compete with the likes of McIlroy and Ricky Fowler. So lengthwise, he's going to have to find areas to hit the ball further. So that little kink in his left arm is another leverage to help him hit the ball further. That extra wrist hinge is another hinge again to help him hit the ball further. So I'm sure a lot of these movements have been inherited to help him keep up with all the young guns coming through.
Maybe, possibly.
Yes. I would say facts.
We're dealing facts here, folks. But then again, saying that, you know, he's just won a Premier event against some of the best players in the world. So.
But it was one of those events where it was whoever kept it in play the most. It wasn't particularly, you know, ripping it up and scoring birdies. It was whoever had the least errors. in the game.
Well, I mean, a lot of people kind of comments YouTube and Facebook and Twitter over the weekend to me, and I'm sure you. A lot of people actually kind of preferred to see an event like that for once, where it's not just smash it high, smash it hard, and then just try and make as many birdies. Actually, a bit of guile and craft to the game. So,
I mean, if the Open is blowy at St Andrews, but it's too open at St Andrews.
It's a different course.
Yeah,
it's a different course.
So he's obviously now qualified for the Open, but it's too open. The guys, the young guns who are smashing it about, they can smash it everywhere at St Andrews, and this year they will have that luxury. It's not mega. It's not brutal.
It depends what they do. I mean, because it depends.
I spoke to someone who's played this year, and it's not brutal.
It depends what they do with the rough.
What is that?
They could go mental with the rough, possibly. Do you know that though?
It sounded like it was made of metal. So yeah, they could go, but I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised.
Well, so anyway, Soren, well done.
Sorry, I reckon
Winner.
I reckon that the old course are going to grow the first in the 18th fairway is over.
Is that right?
It's going to be like a meadow, wildflower meadow.
Make it really tight. I'm going to go back to wide. So the difference being, you see McIlroy and the guys like really getting wide, where Soren's like in here somewhere.
Go on, give us one. Let's stick with Soren. See, that's the advantage. You guys can't see where the ball's going. That's his best shot of the morning.
that was my swing.
I know.
I
was being ironic. Let's get to your questions. Right, guys. Hope you enjoyed Soren's swing, and I'm sure he enjoys it very much more now on this Monday morning, where he's a few £1,000s richer, and some good stuff in there.
And
too.
if you do that same swing, you will also become not much richer, not £1,000 anyway.
So some really good stuff in there. And like we mentioned, he's been on tour for a long time. There's such a level of consistency there, which you guys can benefit from.
Yes.
Someone didn't turn the phone off.
I'm professional. That won't happen when we're on Sky.
No, it definitely won't do.
Right. So, question time. These were posted on my Facebook this week. So, a mixture between posted towards me and towards Pete. We'll start off one that's posted towards us both, Mark Beeson. If you were given the chance to design your own golf course, what type would it be and what signature features would it have? Hashtag Monday Night Golf Show. Lots of nice likes, and you will get a like for that question. Mark Beeson. Right, what type of golf course would you have? Now, I personally prefer something. It meets about the setting of where it is. So some of the best golf courses I've played have had the best settings. So places like New South Wales in Australia, places like when we played in Dubai, when we played Trump International, when I played Trump in LA. The setting, Carnoustie, the setting for me is more powerful than the actual design of the golf course. That's for me what you remember more. So I think it's about the plot of land that you would get. I would like one with a cliff edge ocean on one side, but also slanted towards that cliff ocean. Okay, so every hole, starting from the top all the way down to the bottom, would have a view of the ocean.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I would then on the other side create a replica New York City.
Right.
With features such as, this is in New York City, such as the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
I would also go for the Burj.
Yeah.
We'll build that up there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Probably out in the sea, on that cliff edge, out on the sea, there would be a replica, but a male replica of the Statue of Liberty.
Obviously.
So a male.
Why not?
But in red. And he would have a flashing crown like a lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the holes, the whole design, they would all be par fives. Every hole par five.
Well, we're agreeing on one thing anyway.
Every hole par five, and all off an elevated tee. So all elevated tee, par fives down the hill. And every hole I would design to somehow create it as downwind. So I'd probably have 18 holes, all in one direction, all 18 holes downhill par 5, so the wind is behind. And every time you finish the hole, have like a ski lift. Like a ski lift that would take you back to the tee.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds boring, but every 18 hole would have different dangerous species of animals that don't only interfere with your golf balls, but also put you off by like roaring or putting you off in different ways. Like they would maybe pinch your golf ball, or they would move the flag, or like hide your ball in a bunker and stuff like that. Lots of water, and waterfalls, and parrots. And I would call it. Let me come up with a name. I would call it.
What could you call that?
The best golf course in the world. Just that.
Wow. Right.
The best golf course in the world, and it would be free membership to everybody.
I think you have to charge it to recoup your costs on that.
No, so I'm fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I do a links course.
So Matt, after that question, Matt Gowan, question for Rick and Pete. When and what was the motivation to start teaching golf? Love your show, guys. Keep up the awesome work. You also get a like for that question. Well, after course design probably wasn't our forte. How did we start to get into coaching? Well, certainly from my side, I loved the first time I ever taught anyone, and I kind of started to teach someone because I probably wasn't good enough to play. So I wasn't good enough to compete as a competitor. I realised that pretty quickly, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Realised that I was not good enough to play at a high standard. So instead of trying to, falsely chase a dream that I cannot obtain, I looked into taking golf into a different level, and one of those things was teaching. I taught a few lessons when I started, kids and starters, and just loved it. The first time I got that first golfer hitting that ball, and they turn around and the smile on their face, I don't hit a ball and smile like that. So
it's very miserable, actually.
It's nice.
When you're good shots at the moment.
It's what?
Very miserable at the moment. Like a tour player when you win a good shot. It's just, whatever.
I'm getting used to it.
Whatever.
It's nice to see the joy of a good shot. And I think you miss that as a player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the question is, what was the motivation? I don't think if you love what you do, I don't think you need motivation, if you get what I mean. I think it's a self motivating thing.
I don't need motivation to do it.
It's not
motivation to start though. Is that not what you're saying?
Yeah.
To start teaching golf.
I think if you're a pro, and if you're a PGA pro, certainly kind of teaching opportunities just present themselves anyway. You know for giving lessons, but I know it's something that me and Rick. I mean, I know me from the retail point of view of things. It's something that I had no real love or motivation for at all.
No.
But coaching and, like Rick said, just helping people hit the ball better, it's amazing. It's such an amazing thing to do.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
We're addicted to coaching. So Callan Young asks, any chance you dudes, I think Callan's one of my clients, dudes, hey Callan, are going to take some amateurs out in the course vlog? Maybe run some comps to see who gets chosen. Could be some interesting viewing. You will also get a like for your comment.
Well,
that's That's a very interestingly timed question.
Yeah, I mean we have done course vlogs with kind of people before.
Yeah, we did one with Rob and Stuart.
Rob and Stuart at the Belfry, which was good.
But stay tuned very soon, guys, because Pin Seekers, the app that we've associated ourselves with when we went out to Dubai, stay tuned, because there's going to be something very exciting coming up. Very, very exciting. It's going to be a little bit of a battle going on, and we've got to create a team for that battle. So stay tuned, guys.
But it will give us a chance to kind of meet some of you guys in person. People who use the app as well to engage in a bit of a battle royale. So it's going to be good.
It'll get some of you dudes involved in the project. So
golf dudes.
It'll be a pro dude event.
Pro dude event. Okay, awesome.
So Nick Furness asked, mini driver, fairway wood, or driving iron for accuracy off the tee? Are you asking us what we prefer, or what you would recommend? Is it us what we prefer?
Let's go what we prefer. Maybe a bit of both, possibly, yeah.
I prefer a driving iron off the tee.
I would prefer a fairway wood off the tee.
Off the tee for accuracy, yeah. I feel like I hit my irons more accurate than my woods. That's why I would select irons. I think that's if you're looking for yourself, do you hit your woods more accurately or do you hit irons more accurately? Now, that might be a daft question, but do you hit long irons more accurately? So do you hit your 3-iron, 4-iron well and accurate enough to be able to warrant a driving iron? If not, you've got to go with 3-wood, or mini drivers are great because they're just big chunky 3-woods.
And if that's something that you are looking for, I mean, test it. Test it. Take this to the driving range, take it to the course, keep stats, see which one's best for you. I mean, that's the best and the easiest way to do it, definitely.
So William Tucker asks, as Byung Hun An was completing his recent win, the announcers mentioned he was playing on the European Tour because his manager does not feel he's ready for the American PGA Tour. To myself, that seemed like an insult to the European Tour and the players on that tour. How do you feel that players and managers are considering the European Tour as a warm-up tour to the PGA Tour? So basically, looks like An's manager has said, Ben An, that's the simpler way to say it, Ben An, manager has said he's going to play on the European Tour because he's not ready for the PGA Tour yet. So is that an insult as a European Tour to say, well, is this a little bit of a lesser tour than the PGA Tour? Hit me. Hit me. I didn't know that, I'll be honest with you. I'd not heard that.
That's not something that I've heard. I've got to be honest, I've said it before, I think the golf in actual quality between the two tours, standard of golf-wise, I don't think it's actually that high. The difference in the money and the amount of spectators and the sponsorship and everything like that, that is pretty big. That is pretty high. I think if you take the top players from both tours, stick them in a room together, stick them in a competition together, I think it'd be pretty similar.
Yeah, but
I think the quality standards.
The top player on both tours is Rory McIlroy.
Well, I mean, this is true.
So he's going to compete well against himself.
But I mean, honestly, no, I honestly don't think so. If you have a look at especially like the Challenge Tour and the European Tour over here, the top players from the Challenge Tour and the kind of the bottom half of the European Tour, there's not a massive difference between those players either. And honestly, I think it's the same with the European Tour. I honestly do. I don't think the golfing quality is that good.
They're just playing on different golf courses. That's all. There's not much difference. They're just playing on different golf courses. You've got the States where obviously the PGA Tour where they're playing out in the States. You've got European where they're travelling a bit everywhere. I mean, obviously they'll do just as much travelling in the States. I don't see it as a warm up, and I don't see it as an insult. I feel if that's what he thinks is the right thing to do, then let him do it. We'll see how he gets on. So Nick Chatterton Godby here. We have all seen what the likes of Crossfield and Me and My Golf guys are doing in terms of 100k plus subscribers. Well done, guys.
Yes.
But what are the future plans? The best duo on the net, Ant and Deck. Us. What's the 2 to 5 year YouTube plan? Keep up the good work.
Cool. I'll let you take this one first.
Right.
What's the 2 to 5 year plan?
Well, allow me to get my dossier out.
I'll
get my 2 to 5 year dossier out. So,
it's got 2 post-its on the front.
In 2 years, we expect to be bigger.
Bigger.
In 5 years, we expect to be
yacht.
Even bigger.
just says yacht. There's a picture of a boat.
That's what it's about. I don't believe that we can really plan for that far in advance. I think what we're doing at the moment, we're just absolutely loving it. We're loving our YouTube, we're loving our coaching, we're loving life. We're getting so much enjoyment out of all of it. We're getting so much enjoyment of it. It's becoming addictive. It's becoming very, very engrossing in what we do. We want to do loads more YouTube. We're so excited to do a lot more YouTube. We are going to be doing lots more YouTube. I love the comment, keep up the good work, or keep it up, or keep going. Yes. Honestly, we will keep it going. There's no question about it. We're going to keep it going until time runs out. We do it. We feel like we're growing well. Obviously, the likes of the guys you mentioned before, I think they've been doing it for longer than us. So we've been doing it for less time, and just growth will carry on like that.
Yeah, it'll carry on like that. I think with YouTube, to be fair, I'm not a great believer in making kind of long-term plans like that, because you never really know what's going to come up. Because
we don't. If we've said this time last year, would we have done everything that we have done in the last 12 months? No way. We've been to Turkey, we've been to Orlando, I went to Australia, we went to Dubai, we've been to Bearwood Lakes, we've been to Carnoustie, we've played at Trump International, we've done and if we actually said that, we've played at Wentworth, we've played at the Brabazon 3 or 4 times, we played at Royal Lytham, Royal Hoylake, Birkdale
in 2 days.
You know, if someone said to that last year, you're going to be doing all this year, would have said no, not a chance, not a chance.
And the fact is, when we've done this, and when we filmed the before show as well, we'll have a look through our emails, and there'll be another opportunity there. There'll be something that we could do. There'll be some place that we could go if we wanted to, if we had time to do it. And teaming up with Golf Monthly, that's another thing.
Yeah, each week we're getting invites now from Golf Monthly to go and see, just invites with incredible tour players, and we think, well, how?
Again, there's some really...
How we started filming this, little golf tips, and trying to do a little bit on YouTube to really expose us as teaching pros to the world, and it's escalating so quickly and growing so quickly. Guys, we absolutely love the fact that you love it. We do, and that's what drives us forward. And I'll tell you what, this is what's going to drive us forward. If you're watching right now, and this is what's going to really help us, and this helps us get loads more opportunities, loads more invites, and loads more content for you, is do subscribe. Mm-hmm. It is completely free to do, and it just helps us. That's all it's going to do for us. It's going to help us, and it's going to keep you in contact with us as much as you can.
Absolutely.
So you need a Gmail account, you need to log in, you need to subscribe, and that way you'll get notifications when we put videos on. Subscribe to both channels, because honestly, you can't understand how much ammo that helps when we get these opportunities. It's huge.
Because we've said it before, and I'll say it again now, because I'm already halfway through the sentence, but when we go to somewhere and we say we have this many subscribers who engage in the channel, who watch the channel, we have a lot more leverage to do a lot more things and then bring you much better content as well. So it's one of those cyclical, whichever way you want to pronounce it. It's a good thing. Subscribe, please.
Thank you. Sorry. One more question, guys. One more question, and this is quite a funny one. Carl Broadbent, I think he's in with you this week for a lesson.
Yes, he is.
Question for Rick.
Thanks, Carl. you
really know how to upset the boat when you arrive for your lesson on Wednesday, or whatever it is this week.
There'll be a stony silence in this teacher to go.
If Peter Finch golf and Andy Carter golf were both hanging over the edge of a cliff, this is the cliff at my golf course, at the best golf course in the
that bloody
world,
lions chased us off it,
and it's going to drop to certain horrible death, and you could save one, who would it be? Well, that's a very, very easy choice. I would say...
So, guys, thank you for watching what possibly might be the last ever Monday Night Golf Show. We've had a good run, but unfortunately, when questions are asked like this, then there are going to be repercussions and consequences, and I'm afraid today's just really brought out the true nature of some people. I didn't think I'd get that angry.
Thank you.